Welcome back to my bed. No dirty thoughts. That was dumb. Hello, I'm Mia. Welcome back to Mia Likes Movies. Today's gonna be a bit of a more episode. Cash vid. I had a different video plan for today, but the script is a beast. In order to make sure it's up to the quality and standard I want it to be, it's getting pushed. We're pushing it. I still needed to put out a video for this week, so I wanted to talk about some cozy games. I wanted to talk about what a cozy game is, some of my favorites, and just about cozy games in general, and a little bit about, dare I say, sexism in video games. Is this fun for your ears? So go ahead, grab a blankie, grab some tea, maybe your favorite stuffies, and let's get cozy, shall we? What is a cozy game? Like, why are we even here? You know, I feel like everyone knows what a cozy game is, but there's not like a set definition. Like, if I were to look up a cozy game in Merriam-Webster dictionary, I probably wouldn't find an exact definition. There is a Wikipedia page for cozy games, and this is how it describes it. It says, a cozy game is a video game genre that emphasizes nonviolence and relaxation. Initially derived from the life simulation genre, cozy games commonly include activities such as gathering and growing plants and nurturing other characters. They often have open-ended goals that encourage self-expression. And then they also say that it is believed that the cozy game first kind of started with a game called Little Computer People in 1985, and then of course The Sims in 2000. Animal Crossing New Horizons kind of brought it to the forefront or mainstream for cozy games. And that I understand because of the pandemic, but I also think cozy games have always been a thing, right? I think a lot of the times though, people didn't see them as a valid genre. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that cozy games, or what people would consider cozy games like Sims, is that a lot of the times they're played by women, children, specifically girls, and gays. You know, the video game industry is a predominantly male industry, right? Like if you go on any LinkedIn page for any AAA studio, you're going to find a lot of presumably straight white hetero males. And that's a problem. You know, there's a lot of sexism within the industry at publishers and developers, and also with the fans. How many times have you seen compilations of girls trying to play Fortnite, CSGO, or Call of Duty or whatever, and there's still guys on the other end that are like, girls can't play video games? It's not a fun end of the stick to be on. That's not the correct way to use that turn of phrase, but you know, people don't want to be berated because video games are supposed to be fun. People don't want to be berated while they're having fun. Cozy games provide that safe place to play. That being said, I think cozy games, especially now, post 2020, post the Animal Crossing New Horizons epidemic, dare I say, cozy games has kind of become synonymous with farming simulators and gathering games like Animal Crossing, like Stardew Valley. And those are kind of like the quintessential keystones for that genre. But I think cozy games to me can be high stakes. I think they can. A lot of my cozy games that I enjoy do have stakes. I am the type of person who likes to have goals. I don't like open world games, open-ended games. I need goals to accomplish because I get bored. I need things to do, and things that aren't just like you're paying off a debt, right? I already have that in real life, and I'm not doing that in real life, so why would I want to do it in a video game? Even if it's more achievable in a video game than in real life. Cool. I want something story driven. I like stories. Story can be controlling in a way because, especially in linear stories, there are plot points that need to be hit, and oftentimes developers will try to guide the player towards those plot lines, and it can feel like you're getting your hand held, right? I like linear stories in my games specifically because in real life, there's a lot I have to do. And if there's a story and, you know, maybe my hand is being held, but at least I don't have to think too much. And to me, that brings comfort and is less stressful, as per the definition that we read from Wikipedia earlier. That was a lot of rambling, so why don't we get into these games? And if you're looking for more unique cozy games, these aren't like off the beaten path cozy games, but these are just games that are fun and relaxing to me, because I'm nothing if not basic. I also want to say I'm not including Baldur's Gate in this, but at this point in my Baldur's Gate journey, it is a cozy game to me, and it really relaxes me. And I like talking to the characters, and they relax me. So to me, it's a cozy game, but I'm not even going to really mention it in this list. I already had mentioned Stardew Valley earlier. It's so quintessential of the genre, and it's so good that I don't even really need to mention it. I think I wrote here in my notes, what did I write? I wrote, obviously Stardew Valley, it's in its own tier because that's Mother. That's Mother. I wanted to put these two classics in there. One of the first true actual cozy games I think is Nintendogs. Here I have the Chihuahua one. This was I want to say like my first ever DS game was the Nintendog Chihuahua. I had a Chihuahua named Momo, and you'd have to say their names multiple times. I'd be like, Momo. My dad got so pissed. He would be like, shut up! Stop talking to that damn dog! You have a real dog! I do think Nintendogs is probably the first ever true cozy game. And I found it and I was like, I have to put it in this video. It's under its own tier. It's a classic to me. Another one that is more of like a girly pop cozy game that is a classic to me is any of the Imagine games. The Imagine games, and I specifically had Imagine Boutique Owner. Bitch, I was running a business. I was an entrepreneur. I was boss and CEO. I haven't played this game in a while, but honestly, I just found it and I might play it tonight while I watch that stupid new Harry Styles fanfiction movie. Because this game, truly, I can't tell you how many hours I have on it. This used to be all I used to play. Any car ride, like when we would go swap from dad's house to mom's house, this would be in my DS, okay? This is a classic. Real bitches new Imagine Boutique Owner. So those are my two classic cozy games that really like made an impact on me as a human, and I think maybe the way I am. A lot of these are Nintendo games, and I think that's because Nintendo has really cornered the market on cozy games, right? Especially with the release of the Switch. Just something so comfortable about the style of it, and there's just something about getting, curled up on the couch and sitting like this. Anyway, Nintendo knows that that's their lane, and they stay in it. This might be a very controversial opinion, but as I've grown and matured as a human, I don't necessarily enjoy Animal Crossing. I know there's a joke where it's like, you play Animal Crossing obsessively for months and then you put it down and don't play it for a while and then you play it again. And I used to be like that, specifically when I was younger with the Animal Crossing for GameCube. There's not enough of a story for me to dive into. Is it aesthetically and visually very pleasing and relaxing, especially New Horizons beach vibe? Sure. But I will say though, a cozy game to me that I love is the Happy Home Designer DLC that is for the Animal Crossing New Horizons for the Switch. I can't help but be an unhinged CEO girl boss. I'm designing, bitch. I am putting homes together. They give me a theme. I'm going to accomplish the theme. That's a goal and that's a task I can do. And to me, it's comforting. It's fun to it's like a puzzle, right? It's satisfying. To me, that's a true cozy game. 10 out of 10. No said. A lot of people, I don't think, consider these cozy games. I am going to have to say any of the Pokemon games on the Switch are cozy games. Anything I say after Gen 5, not including Gen 5, right? And if you don't know, Generation 5 is Black and White 2. One, I think that aesthetically they do fit what many consider the cozy game vibe with the cute chibi art style. I don't know if it's just because I aged out of being their target demographic, or, a lot of people have complained about them essentially like hand-holding you through the plot. But I think they're cozy games because of that. Because I don't have to put my thinking cap on to play these, right? I can collect my cute little animals, my cute little Pokemon, and kind of just live my life and achieve the goals that they set out for me. And that's relaxing. And there's a little bit of a story, but it's not like a stressful one. And sure, am I fighting other children? Yes. But we're all having a good time about it. We're all being good sports, right? And I don't know why people don't consider them cozy games. Maybe people do, and I'm just not on that side of TikTok or whatever, but I think especially the Switch Pokemon games are cozy games. Now, hear me out. Do you remember the contests? Not in Gen 4, Gen 3 contests. They should make a game that is specifically just Pokemon contest. You can still be whatever, like a 10-year-old child, and you're getting your first Pokemon. But can we have a game where instead of trying to defeat the gym leaders, you're trying to be a contest girly? Like Dawn and May changed my life. I would spend hours. I remember hours on my little Game Boy, my little red Game Boy Advance. And I was playing Pokemon Sapphire, and bitch, I was grinding those contests. I was winning. And I would love there to just be a game, just that. I would eat that up. I think also nostalgia plays a large factor in cozy games in general. And when there's that nostalgic connection, it's relaxing because it brings you back to your childhood where you didn't have all the responsibilities as an adult. Next on my list. I don't know if people are gonna think this is a cozy game, and I'm actually kind of embarrassed. Fire Emblem Three Houses is one of my favorite cozy games to me. Here's what. I was a gifted kid, all right? You gonna put me in school as a professor? I'm in. I actively have about 350 hours in this game. This is not a game where you need to have 350 hours in, right? But I do. I've played through every single house, every single path, and are the battles sometimes stressful? Sure, especially if you're playing on classic mode. And that's not super cozy game vibe, but the RPG, the JRPG element of this, where you're a professor talking to your students, that is very cozy game esque. And to me, it's very comforting. And also, like, when you're like truly playing the game and you're getting into the nitty gritty of character relationships and assigning your students to do different things to create couples in the end, like, that is very fun and it's relaxing to me. And you get a lot of cutscenes and story, and it's actually, then you're not really playing a lot, which is fine to me. Yeah, so I don't think people consider the Fire Emblem games cozy games, and they aren't, okay? Like, I would say this is probably the only Fire Emblem game in this series that is a cozy game. Awakening is not a cozy game. Girl, I'm stressed when I play Awakening. I'm stressed. Next one, I don't have a physical copy of. It is Harvest Moon, A Wonderful Life. This originally came out on the GameCube. I want to say mid 2000s. I could be wrong, don't quote me on that. I think a lot of it does have to do with nostalgia. And I think it's strange that I have such an affinity for A Wonderful Life in comparison to my relationship with games like Animal Crossing and even Stardew Valley, right? Because there's a lot of similarities and a lot of things you have to do, especially with Stardew Valley because it's a farming simulator, right? But I think what A Wonderful Life did very well, I think the art style has a lot to do with it. It's very cute, very round in a lot of ways. The animal designs, especially the cows, Harvest Moon classic cows, are just, I want to bite them. They look like marshmallows. I don't think any of the other Harvest Moon games afterwards hit the same. And I do want to say that I don't think a lot of people know this. What was originally developed by a company called Victor Interactive Software, and it later transitions into Marvelous Entertainment or Marvelous Inc. as the developer. And Natsume would be the company that would translate it and publish it in America. And that's kind of how it was for a long time until, let me check my facts. Until about 2012 is when they split. And Natsume actually kept the naming rights for Harvest Moon. And so Marvelous still wanted to produce Harvest Moon games, but they no longer owned the name to it. And that's when they started publishing under Story of Seasons. And so any game post 2012, 2013 that is called Harvest Moon is not actually technically a classic Harvest Moon game. If you want the same developer, you're going to want to look for Story of Seasons games. So Marvelous did recently redo A Wonderful Life. So it's Story of Seasons, A Wonderful Life. And I played a little bit of it. It doesn't hit the same. I don't know what it is. It doesn't hit the same. All that to say, if you want to play Harvest Moon: A Wonderful Life and you don't have a GameCube, you can get it on the PlayStation Store. I don't know if you can get it on the Microsoft Store. I'm assuming you can't. But I discovered last year that you can purchase Harvest Moon as was released for the GameCube for PlayStation. I have it on my PlayStation 4. I did not upgrade to PS5, and I'm having a great time. Is it a little clunky because it's ported to a newer console that is also not what it was originally published on? Absolutely. Am I still having a great time? Yes. Is nostalgia a huge factor in this? Yes. Do I care? No. Before we get to I think what is technically like my number one cozy game that I always go back to, I wanted to throw in the Telltale Games, specifically The Walking Dead season 1 and 2, because Telltale Games you don't really have to play, right? They're essentially point and click games, and they are also, there's some quick time events, but you kind of can just, they're essentially like an interactive graphic novel in a lot of ways. And I think that's kind of like what the goal was, especially for the Walking Dead ones, because, you know, they did The Wolf Among Us, which I love. If you haven't played the Telltale's Wolf Among Us, so good. And the main character is very sexy. And I even love the Game of Thrones one. And I'm upset that they never made a season 2 for it, because the first season of the Game of Thrones Telltale game was very good. And I got very invested in a lot of the characters. And so I'm mad at them for that. I think the reason why I find them very comforting is that my mom is a huge Walking Dead fan. And she used to watch a lot as we were kids, and we would watch with her. And so there's also, again, that nostalgic factor. We don't acknowledge the nostalgia factor in cozy games enough, because to me it's really a driving force of cozy games, is that childhood sense of wonder, whimsy, and awe. I fear this video is going all over the place. I promise you'll get a scripted video, okay? It's just I want to make sure it's good. My final cozy game is Skyrim, which is not really a cozy game, but to me it's just so memeified at this point, and I like to play it on console. I have it for my Switch. Does it play well on the Switch? No. Can you use your Joy-Cons as motion controls for the weapons? Yes. Does it work? God, no. You're not winning any fight like that. Is it fun? Yes. Oh my God, it's so much fun. Also, it's just so not serious, because it's like low-key bad, right? Skyrim, I don't play for the story. I play for the environment. I'm definitely more of an Oblivion girl in general for Elder Scrolls, but I wouldn't classify Oblivion as a cozy game. And I think that's because I played Oblivion after Skyrim, and Skyrim I would play with my stepbrother when we were younger, and it again has that nostalgia factor. We're not talking about the nostalgia factor enough. It exponentially pushes cozy games up in people's psyches in comparison to other games. Skyrim to me is relaxing because it's so not serious, and I can just run around, and I know I will stumble upon something that will intrigue me for a bit. And now for me, Skyrim is my Animal Crossing, because I will go through a couple of months where I'm very dedicated to Skyrim, and then I'll forget about it, and then I'll go back, and I'll forget about it, and then I go back, and I'll forget about it, and dare I say I go back. It's crazy to say that Skyrim is my Animal Crossing, but I'm just not like other girls. And you know what? That's okay. And it's also okay to be like other girls. We don't talk about that enough. There's nothing wrong with liking cozy games. If you like cozy games, good for you. It doesn't make you any less of a gamer, okay? And if anyone tells you otherwise, okay, they suck. And you know what? They probably smell bad. I think that's all I have to say. Thank you for joining me on this little bit of a chaotic, less serious vibe. I had fun. I hope you had fun. I hope you felt like you got to know me a little bit more too. I feel like I don't talk about myself enough. I feel like we don't get a lot of this. We should do this more often, okay? Subscribe if you want. You know, for $2.99 a month, you can become a Me Likes member. I'm not forcing you to do that, obviously, but you can do it if you want. It's only $2.99. But also, we're living in a recession and the economy's in shambles, so I don't blame you. But you do get a couple of perks. You get an exclusive members community tab. There are also priority reviews on your comments. I will like and or respond to them first. Okay, first in line, babes. First in line. And then finally, you get a shout out at the end of all my videos, which leads me to my shout out for this week's video, which is Xylorb. Thank you for being a Me Likes member. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate all of you for being here. Thank you for watching my video. I will see you in the next video, hopefully. Okay. Bye-bye. I'm gonna go to sleep now. Bye-bye.